Okay. Hello.
What was that?
My phone.
Okay,
It
that's
fell
fine.
from the couch.
Anyway, hey, welcome back. I'm John.
I'm Sierra.
And this is...
And they were readers.
Today might be our most controversial video to date, because we're going to talk about books that we didn't like. A book
that we
a
didn't
singular
like.
book, specifically.
Yeah. So when I read this book, I was like relatively new to reading.
Okay.
I had just finished The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid.
That's a good one.
Pretty close to reading this book.
Yeah.
And I was expecting a lot because I just read like Norwegian Wood, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, like everyone's top recommendations.
Yeah.
For books.
Okay, and this was also a top recommendation.
True.
From many people.
Yes.
The internet, people we knew,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you read it first.
Did I?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Because you read it in like a day. And,
I did read it in an
and
afternoon.
you didn't tell me anything because you're like, I
Oh.
want you to have your own opinion on it.
Because I had a strong one.
Yes.
And I didn't want to sway his opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
How rude. Because I would have loved the warning. The book we are talking about is Verity by Colleen Hoover.
Mm-hmm.
We don't own it. But I'll put the cover here somewhere.
Yes.
And I think it is a good indicator that if it's a book that I don't own, there might be a reason. Okay, we don't want to bash any author.
Nope.
Colleen Hoover, her writing is renowned. People love it, and she pumps books out. Like,
Yeah.
she is,
and it's all over my feed. Like, people love it.
She is a phenomenal writer.
Yeah. People love her
Yes.
writing.
Yes.
Right? The
I'll
way
say that.
the plot and like the way it drives.
Yeah.
People love it.
Verity is
Okay, I'll say this.
okay.
Verity is a thriller book,
Sure.
which is not a genre I read.
Fair.
Nor is it a genre she writes.
Normally.
Normally. It's
Yes.
her only
Okay.
thriller book.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So, we're like, sound like we're backtracking.
Because we don't want to be mean.
We're only moving forward. Okay.
It is my lowest rated book to date.
So, interestingly, this man rated it, I don't know, like a 3.5 to star.
Bruh.
He has brought it down. I don't know what it's down at now, but I think it's like a 1.75.
Maybe. It's either in the 2s or a high 1.
Like every month, like he'll be like, you know what? I just read a book, and this book needs to be lower.
So, okay, this is... I don't know how to say this without sounding like a bad person. As I read other books that aren't my favorite... Wow. This is the most politically correct I've ever spoken about books. It's fine. Okay, as I read other books that I don't like, they are still better, in my opinion, than Verity, so I have to make a new low. I'm so sorry. I have to make a new low.
Okay.
Because that's the gist of it. Good example is The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. If you have read it, you know that Hemingway is a beautiful writer. Oh, sorry. Hemingway's writing is beautiful. I don't know him personally.
Yeah.
His writing is beautiful, gorgeous. That is why it's Hemingway. He's renowned for years. There is no plot in The Sun Also Rises. Here, I'll say this. I was making the plot for the book as I read it.
Interesting. Was that the point?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. So I gave that a low rating, and I still had to make Verity lower. And that's how it's been going. So It has been decreasing in rating as time moves on, and I'm sorry. I am sorry to this woman.
So that's the thing, though. Like, that's the point of writing. That's the point of art, right? We don't all have to like it.
Correct.
So I think that's what's cool is, like, she's written all these other books.
Yes.
Maybe this wasn't the representation that we should have consumed her novels with.
Fair.
Like, right? Like, I think that starting off with someone's only thriller, when I've never read that author, might not be a fair shot to that author.
Exactly. So, therefore, we are giving her a second chance.
Yes.
We're actually giving her a second and third chance. Because we are going to read, they're over there somewhere. Can you grab them?
Yeah.
So,
She's struggling. I got it.
So, we are going to read It Ends With Us and It Starts With Us. When looking up her like most popular books, these are two of the most popular ones.
Yeah, and November 9.
Sure.
He knows
I didn't do too much research. I was at a bookstore and I saw them and they were decently priced. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Let me do it. Yeah. Let me just go for it because I want to give her a second chance. I don't like reading one author and being like, hate it, that's it, one done, never going back. Yeah. So, yeah. And I also haven't met an author that I don't like their writing a ton. And so I think I'm going to go into this differently. When I was first reading for myself and like learning what I liked, I didn't know that what I liked was literary fiction. Fair. So now that I know that, I can go into this with a different lens. Yes. And instead of expecting literary fiction writing, I can go to read it as the genre. Yeah. So I'm excited to do that too because I think it's not fair to read a thriller book and expect it to be like a literary fiction book. Correct. So I think that's part of the problem too. I think with Verity, I was frustrated at certain decisions that were made or like certain things about the writing, but I had to give it a decent rating because I did read it in an afternoon. Like I did kind of want to know what happened. Yeah, was I disappointed at the end? Yeah. But like that doesn't matter. I did do that, right? Fair. So I think that's fair. Like she clearly writes in a compelling manner. And so I think that I have a lot to learn when it comes to keeping your attention. Yeah. I think she does a great job of that. So I'm excited. Do you ever... I'm so sorry. I love it. Do you ever have a spot in your glasses? Do you see it? No. I'm talking about immediately self-conscious. Yeah. I think I have a spot in my glasses. And this is like in general. Maybe not right now. You're looking really deep into my eyes. I'm not looking into your eyes. I'm looking at the glass. Yeah. Don't think too hard into it. I'm like, I can't stop looking. Go. Mine's like right here. It becomes like the focus of your vision as things are happening because you're like, there's a spot there, and it's minuscule. I see 7. It's minuscule, but it becomes the focus of I have so many. Clean your glasses. You roast me the most for my glasses, for not cleaning them. That's true. Mine are relatively clean. And they're so dirty right now. It looks like I'm looking through a cloud of glass. That's clouded glass. I knew what you meant. English? Clouded, not a cloud of glass. Yeah. Clouded glass. I'm looking through clouded glass, not a clouded glass. Thank you. Now that we are sure on that. Okay. So we're giving Colleen Hoover a second and third chance, and we'll report back. Yeah, we haven't read them yet. We haven't read them yet, but we will. So and you'll see us again. We'll see if this is a story of redemption or if our opinions stay but more or less the same. Okay. We're back. We did it. We read them. Oh, the beeping. It's fine. I know. I thought it was the camera. Oh, no. It's our oven. You hate me. I don't know. It's every time I say it, you flip out. And it's the funniest thing. No. You hate me. Oh. Oven? Why would I forget an oven? It's like how many times you said oven to me? A lot. Can you breathe the oven? There's the pizza's done in the oven. Okay. Anyway, so we're back for reading It Ends With Us and It Starts With Us. The last time you saw us, we were optimistic. We were? I was. Okay. And I have mixed feelings. Same. Oh, we have spoken none of this. We have spoken none. The one thing I texted him 20 pages in was, if this were a typical day and I wasn't like reading this to really try to understand this author, I would have DNF'd already. Yeah. And that's because I do judge a book by its first 100 pages, unlike my good friend John here. All right, so if you know one of our videos, he said, some people say don't judge a book by its cover. He says, don't judge a book by its first 100 pages. Facts. I do. Every time. Yeah. So I would have been done. But you know what? I'm glad I wasn't done. Yeah? Nah, that's a lie. I don't know why I lied like that. You know... Okay, let's start with what it's about. Sure. First of all, read trigger warnings. Yes, please. We are actually probably about to talk about a lot of things that are sensitive. So if abuse, what other things are in here? That's probably the biggest one. If that is something that you don't want to hear about, honestly, probably skip this video and that's totally fine. Yeah. But we won't talk about it too much and maybe, hopefully, we'll have some timestamps. But, okay, so this is what the back says. Lily hasn't always had it easy, but that's never stopped her from working hard for the life she wants.
True. She's come a long way from a small town in Maine where she grew up. She graduated from college, moved to Boston, and started her own business. We love. So when she feels a spark with a... Sorry, because I read this. Okay. Let me try again. So when she feels a spark with a gorgeous neurosurgeon named Ryle? I keep forgetting his name is Ryle. Ryle Kincaid. Everything in Lily's life suddenly seems almost too good to be true. I'm not gonna read more. So yeah, when I first read that, I was like, ooh, fun. I love neuroscience, and I'm a business owner. And then I kept reading. Ryle is assertive, stubborn, and maybe a little arrogant. Okay. He's also sensitive, brilliant, and a total soft spot for Lily. But Ryle's complete aversion to relationships is disturbing. Okay, then why am I reading this? Is this a romance book?
Look.
Someone explain it to me.
Okay. So I read it first.
Yep.
And as I expected, it's pretty easy to read.
Oh, very easy to read.
Her writing is very, I don't know, like good storytelling, I guess, is
Absolutely.
what I'll give her.
What I'll say is when you read the words on the page, it makes sense to your brain in a way that helps you get to the next sentence very easily.
Wow, she's an educator. Yeah, so it was like really easy to read. I think I read it in like 2.5 days. Same with the next one. I first thought it was going to be a romance book.
Yeah, it's a little spicy in those first few chapters.
It is.
The first chapter?
Well, the first chapter I was like, wow, this is funny because it talks about her talking about her dad had passed and she spoke at his funeral.
I have comments on that.
Okay.
So in the first chapter, she speaks about her dad's funeral, and you have like tragedy after tragedy described in this first chapter, and it feels like they're using tragedy as a device and not as an experience. And that kind of pissed me off. Not gonna lie. I even wrote about it in the book. I wrote him a little note. I was like, excuse me?
It was a lot. Yeah.
So that happens.
Yeah, and then they do it again. Yeah. But we'll get there.
Okay. I don't know.
It was a lot.
Okay, so out the gate, I'm reading this book and I'm like, huh? Because, I would be fine with it. Like, tragedy doesn't bother me. It's tragedy as a device that bothers me, and that's how it felt. It might not have been on purpose, but, like, I don't know, like, I'm not going to speak to someone's intentions.
Yes.
But that's how it felt as though someone who was reading it.
Yeah.
So that's my first thing that I didn't love.
And then it kind of felt like we were going straight into romance. Because
Yeah.
they meet on a rooftop, and he's gorgeous, and she's just moved to this city, and wow, the sparks are flying. But they, like, have different desires. Like, he doesn't want a relationship at all. She's a little more serious. They're like, okay, cool. But there's still, like, they're definitely going to meet up again. Like,
we know.
They're definitely, like, the plot point of the book is their relationship.
They're the main characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, through, like, a bunch of different circumstances, they end up dating.
Yeah, and I think, I was like, okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Do I know why she likes this man? Not a
really.
clue. I would see why she would want to date him. He's really attractive in the book, really driven.
Yes.
Do I see why she would want to marry him? That is where I get a little lost, personally.
Yes.
I don't,
There's like a lot of serendipitous, like, meetings. Like, she opens her flower shop, and this guy's sister decides to go and work for her.
So delightful, so lovely.
The sister's great.
I'd watch it on Netflix.
Yeah.
I
they
100%
are making
would.
it a show, or a movie, or something.
As we continue, I will not watch it on Netflix. I'm saying, like if this were, like, a guilty pleasure type show, so far, I'm like, okay, this is fine. Part 1, we're just chilling.
Understood, gotcha.
And then
yeah.
I lose words. I literally texted him, I was like, I don't know how we're going to make a video, because I have nothing to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, she ends up marrying Ryle.
The guy from this
from
book.
the roof, who's the neurosurgeon.
Yes, who is gorgeous and
driven and
assertive and stubborn and maybe a little arrogant.
Maybe even a little arrogant. And at first you're like, wow, they found each other.
Wow.
I'm so happy.
Look at how cute.
It's adorable.
Except for when I read that she married him, I was like, but why?
It was like one of those, literally like a spur of the moment thing. Like, they bought a plane to go to Vegas, all the blah, 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 blah.
Sure. But she has not told me why she loves him yet.
He inspired her to start her business. She, like, quit her job, opened up her flower shop. I thought, okay.
What?
Lily Bloom. Why?
Yeah, bad naming.
Why?
I know. That's her name.
Her name is Lily Bloom,
and she opened a flower shop.
And she opened a flower shop, and like she like joked about it being like, it's like kind of on the nose, I know. And I'm like, yeah. So like, why'd you do it?
You like had the power.
You should do anything else. And even if it was just a Lily something else, Lily Smith, I'd have been like better. Lily Bloom.
Yeah. Okay, so she ends up in an abusive relationship, and that's kind of the point of It Ends With Us, right? And Atlas, from her childhood, comes back into the story. And not to give anything away, just know that Atlas doesn't do anything to spur the abuse, but he is like the center of their arguments.
Yes.
And so I think that plotline, actually, in my opinion, of the tension of not wanting to leave your abuser and like what you're willing to put up with, I actually thought was done really well.
I agree.
I thought that the writing was clear on her emotions and on what was challenging. And then at the end, you actually read the author's note, and Colleen Hoover experienced as a child like that domestic abuse type situation with her parents, and to kind of see, okay, like this was coming from a very real place.
Yes.
I want to start this by saying I respect that.
Yes.
And that someone's experience should be respected, like,
Absolutely.
period.
Yeah.
But I also think that the romance and the characters around all of that were flat, and I had a lot to be desired. Whoops.
Yeah, so Lily, her parents, like, there's kind of this generational trend of relationships with men that aren't the best, hence the title It Ends With Us, because she's like, no more
from my
family
and my kin
so the first book ends
with them. It ends with us.
Anyway,
you hate us,
but then fine. It starts again.
But with Atlas this time.
Yes. So
okay, so I actually really enjoyed this. I had a good time.
Yeah, this was just kind of wholesome.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I want out of a romance book, personally.
And even in her note, it's in this one. So this was like a TikTok, book talk phenomenon, both of these.
This popped off so hard.
And she mentions her gratitude for the community, and like, we know book talk and booktube wholesome. You guys are great.
We stand.
And apparently the like feedback was, we want them to be happy.
We want a happy ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lily and Atlas is the focus of this book. And their relationship is it's pretty...
I like it.
Yeah.
I think that Atlas, I know why she wants to marry him.
Yes.
You get that he's compassionate, he cares about his community, he cares about justice, he wants to be innovative. Like, okay, yes, that makes more sense to me. Yeah. And he's also cited as being so attractive, like he's a Greek god.
Yes, Adonis.
So, like, I understand the physical attraction in this book. I also understand the physical attraction to Atlas. So, like, Atlas is physical attraction plus all the other things that I would want to marry.
And I loved getting the backstory on Atlas here.
Yeah, you finally understand, like, what really happened in his whole life.
What he went through, like, all of his stuff. And I don't know if this is on purpose, but Atlas is, in Greek mythology, the guy that, like, holds up the world.
It has to be on purpose.
And, yeah.
Her name is Lily Bloom. It has to be on purpose.
Well, I don't know. Because this feels, like, super well thought out, and the other one was, like, flowers. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, through all of the descriptions of his backstory, like, he really was holding up the world. And continues to do so now, because... like, a member of his family comes into his life that we didn't know about the first time, and that relationship is
it's so
tender.
Good. It's my favorite part of the book. He's so funny too, and Theo's so funny. It's another like young character in the book that I literally wrote. Hold on, let me see.
Oh my goodness!
I wrote, love this interaction.
How did you know exactly where it was? you found that in record time. I was like, why are you doing this now? I'm never going to find it. Found it immediately.
It's because I'm a teacher and I know how to flip through books, bro. It's like a skill.
Anyway, and I will say that this book had more representation. If only slightly more, a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that I really just enjoyed wholesome interactions. When I read a romance book, I want wholesome. When I read literary fiction, I'm fully prepared for not wholesome, and that might be on me. But also, I think one of the things that bothers me about her writing, and Stephen King talks about this on writing, that you don't want to show your readers what's happening so much so that you make them feel dumb. Like, I feel like they said that Atlas was a Greek god 5 times. I remember. You don't have to tell me. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
So that's one of my issues with her writing, is I feel like it's written for YA, but it's clearly an adult book.
Absolutely.
So that's
that's
just a personal thing, and that just might be on me. Yeah. And that's okay.
So I think I gave this book credit because for the topic that is discussed, you discussed it very well.
Yes, I also gave credit for that.
She talked about, like, the intricate emotions that, like, can spur someone to stay in that relationship, and like the difficulty of leaving, and like who to talk to, and all
generational
that.
trauma
Generational
too.
trauma.
I thought that was
really
well
like,
done. Yeah.
Round of applause.
Yep.
And then this one was just so wholesome.
It's found family. If you do found family, you got me.
Yeah.
So,
and it was good.
But you kind of need to read this one, unfortunately.
Which is tough.
Also, I saw some comments being like, she just straight up copied some pages from this book and put it in this one.
Bro, that was... Okay, sorry. I forgot that was one of my big problems. I hate the idea of reading the same thing twice. What are you going to say about it?
Get that bread. Like, honestly, do less work and get that money.
No.
She's here to get that bag.
Oh, it made me so angry. I read these books back to back.
I don't care enough.
In the span of like a week and a half.
Yeah.
And the fact that
You're not wrong.
You triggered me because I forgot that this happened.
Yeah.
In the book, Lily has a diary, okay? And a lot of it, you're reading those diary entries, okay? So that's in the first book. In the second book, you're reading them again in different contexts because she's like, explaining it to Atlas, or Atlas is reading it. But you have to read it again, the same exact things. Well, because I was like, I don't like skip things in any media. Like,
that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, if it's in the book for a reason. I'm here, I'm reading it.
It's not in there for a reason. It's just to remind the reader, because this came out a year after the first one.
I know.
But I really don't think you need to rewrite she copied and pasted. And it's so funny to me. Okay, let's do our Storygraph ratings real quick.
Okay, I don't remember that either.
So he put 3.75 for both of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he rated them the exact same.
Are you upset about that?
Yeah, I am. I was like, what the heck? This one's clearly better. From a writing standpoint, I think. And then the end was really crap, actually. She bulldozed through life events unnecessarily.
That's true.
Yeah, so that was...
They did different things well and different things badly.
I agree.
And that's why, because I was going to give this one like a 3 at first, and I was like, for the topic, it's solid. And then this one, it was just warm. So
okay, that's
and
fair.
they both just like...
Yeah, you're right. Okay, you're right.
Wow.
Heard.
I rest my case.
Respect. So for me, I rated this one a 3.25.
Fair.
Because it got a 3 for the way it discussed difficult topics, and a 0.25 for the heck of it, I guess. Because a 3 felt harsh.
It was a gimme.
Yeah. And then I gave this one a 4.25.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is what I want in a romance novel. Like, I want a light read that I can read in an afternoon that's fun and cute and quirky and delightful, with a little bit of seriousness in, but it's found family seriousness.
It's fair.
So I rest my case.
Our camera died.
In the middle of us talking, so we have no idea what that
So we're back. Those are, I can't recover.
Those are our thoughts on Colleen Hoover.
That was the exact sentence I was trying to say. Slightly more respect for her now, from Verity to this series. And yeah, let us know what you thought.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye. See ya.
Yeah.